In the previous couple of videos, we created a login process, a dashboard, and a place to view our current types. So in this video, we're going to add the ability to delete a type. So to start, I am currently logged in on my dashboard. I have MAMP running. I'm using MAMP to test my PHP application. And if I click Manage Types, I get a list. Now, what we want to do is take this delete button, and when clicked, we want to delete a record. So when I click that, notice the URL goes to console, types, delete, and then the ID of the record we want to delete. So before I can start coding this, I need to add a new route. So let's open up our web routes. And at the bottom here, let's add a new route. This is also going to be a GET request. So console/types/delete. And then after delete goes the ID. And the way we specify that is type ID. Then we finish that off. We're calling our types controller. And we're going to call a method simply called delete. Now, the delete is not actually going to display anything. When the visitor clicks delete, it's going to initiate the types controller and call the delete method. It's going to delete that record and then simply redirect back to our list. Now, along with specifying that we want to use our delete method, we can also specify some restrictions on the type ID. So, for example, after our route, we can go where, and then there's a series of basically validation that we can put into here. So where type is 0 to 9, and the plus sign stands for multiple. So we are specifying that the value here, our type, can consist of multiple numbers. And then we can also include our middleware and specify that you must be logged in to view this page. And now if I refresh my page, all right, so this is progress. What's happening here is our route is getting initiated. It's looking for our delete method, which at this point does not exist. Now, if I switch this 1 to a word, now it's going to get page not found because that route no longer applies to that URL. Our route only applies to delete/a number. Our next step is to create that controller method. I'm going to open up our types controller. And in here, I'm going to add a new public function called delete. And in this case, I am now passing in an ID. So I'm passing in a type, and we'll use a type variable. Now from here, let's just output type. Now one thing we haven't covered is there's a debugging function called ddd. So if we ddd type and I refresh, at this point it has now hit our method, our delete method, and ddd stands for dump, die, and debug. And what I've done here is I've outputted our type variable. And notice a type variable is not just the number 1, it's the whole type object. Using the model, it went and looked up a type using this ID, number 1, and fetched a matching record. And what I want to do in this case is take that type and delete it. and save. And when I'm done, I want to redirect back to our list. So we're going to redirect back to console/types/list and save. And if I refresh, we are back to our list, and notice one of our records is gone. Now, here we only have 3 records, and now we're down to 2, so it's easy to see that one of them is now gone. But if we had a list of 20 or 30 and one of them was deleted, we may not notice. So I want to provide our visitor with a message that a record was deleted. So in this redirect, I'm going to add another method called with. And here we can specify to add a message, and our message would just be type has been deleted. And what this actually does is it creates a variable in our session called message and adds that text to that session message. So in our view, we still need to display that message. So I'm going to open up list, and after our header, but before our page title, before we open up the main section, I'm going to add a PHP if statement. If session has a message. And close that if statement. And if it has a message, I want to output that message. So I'm just going to open up a div. I'm going to use a couple W3 CSS classes here. So W3 padding, W3 margin top, and all the defaults are fine, and W3 margin bottom. And inside that div, I'm just going to output our message. And I'm going to make it red so it's nice and obvious. I'm going to add some padding and center that text. And to get the message, I just output session get message and save. And if I now delete another record, that record is gone, and we get a message to confirm that it's been deleted. Now the message will also automatically, after being displayed, it will remove itself from the session. So if I go back to my dashboard and back to my types, that message is gone.